Okay, so we are at the end of E month. We're going to wrap up a little bit what we've been learning this month. And if you're brand new, don't worry, I'm going to reteach it right as we go. And then on Monday, we're going to start a whole new month that I'll talk about at the end of class. But what we've learned so far about E, when you're spelling an E sound, the long E sound, you have to have another vowel 1 or 2 spots away. If there's not one, you have to add one. And we add another E right next to that first E when it's in a short word, usually right in the middle, like feet or meet, like we're going to meet up. EA is often used also to spell the E sound, but EA is a complicated vowel team that has a lot of different sounds. It spells a lot of different sounds and it has its own lesson. So we're going to use the EE vowel team to spell that long E sound in the middle of short words. When you hear that long E sound toward the end of longer words, like compete, complete, delete, you're going to use an E consonant final silent E. E consonant final silent E. Okay, we're going to be practicing that today too. We've also learned that you can spell the E sound with just a Y when it comes at the end of multi-syllable words. You're going to spell the E sound with just a Y when it's at the end of multi-syllable words. Like what? Put some words that end with Y in the chat for me. Silly, candy, pretty, trendy, rapidly, slowly, quickly, baby, here they come, happy, money. Oh, or keep track of money, right? We're going to talk about that in just a second. Yes, that word way, that A-Y is spelling the A sound, and that's how you spell the A sound at the end of words. Think about when Y is spelling the E sound at the end. Any others? We have sunny coming through, funny. There are everywhere. Yeah, Mary, a whole bunch of names end with Y. And Y is going to be your spelling of choice when you're spelling the E sound at the end of multi-syllable words, longer words. You also might have an EY option. This is what we learned last week. EY will be how you spell it at the end of words, multi-syllable words, if the letter before it is an N or a K or an LL, like valley or money or monkey. That's much less common. Yeah, Daryl, you put money as an example. There you can see that EY is spelling the E sound after an N or a K or an LL. What else have we learned about E this month? 2 more things, I think. We have learned that when you're spelling the E sound, the short E sound, the next 2 letters have to be consonants. If they're not, you're going to double the next letter so that E can spell the E sound. And then the last thing that we learned just on Monday was that isn't E kind of complicated? It has so many different spellings and we haven't even gone over all of them. You're going to love next month. Next month is so simple with I. But we also learned that E can be spelled with an EI after a C, like receive, receipt, conceive or conceit, right? All right, so having reminded you of all of that, let's get spelling and get practicing. Let me share my screen. All right, here we go. So our first word that we are going to spell together is the word flame. Flame. Our sounds are F, L, E, M. Separate the sounds first. Now our consonants. F, L, E, M. Now our vowels. We save the vowels for last so that you know how to spell them. Vowels have so many different spellings. You have to know what the letters are around it and where that vowel is to know how to spell that particular sound. So since this is in the middle of a short word, we're going to use that EE option. We can't just use the single E. Why not? that would say phlegm, because that E does not have a companion vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. So we add one. That EE is our vowel of choice in the middle of short words like this. Okay, your word is, on your own, speen. Speen. S-p-e-n. Go for it. Speen. And then put your answer in the chat so I can see it. Speen. Speen. Beautiful. Yes. Nice. Gorgeous. Exactly. So that last sound, Monica, my mouth is open instead of closed. My tongue is going to the top of my mouth. Speen. Yeah, and then you'll have it. Yeah, Clement, my mouth is open on that last sound. I know it's kind of hard to hear in the mic. Speen. Yeah, exactly. All right, so our consonants are S, P, E, N. Vowels. Our vowel of choice is going to be that EE vowel team, spelling the E sound. You'll notice that first E, it follows the tap 2 rule. Now it can say its long sound because there's another vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. Otherwise, if there was only one E there, it would say spen. We would spell spen. All right, next, spell the word blempy. Let's do this one together. Blempy. B-l-e, mouth is closed. P-e, blempy. Consonants. B-l-e, p-e. Vowels. E. We always try a single vowel first. Can that E spell E in that spot? Yes, it can, because the next 2 letters are consonants. Blempy. E at the end of a longer word is spelled with a Y. E at the end of a longer word is spelled with a Y, usually. Sometimes we're going to use that EY, the letter before it is an N, a K, or an LL. We'll have that one in just a second. Your word without me is strendy. Strendy. S-t-r-e-n-d-e. Strendy. 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 Nice. Good. Beautiful. Lovely. I love how you're all getting that 3-letter consonant blend at the beginning without letting any of those sounds out. Strendy. Beautiful. Well done. Keep going. Strendy. So make sure that you have the same number of lines as me that you see here on the board, and that the right lines are dotted for your vowels. Strendy. All right, consonants we have S, T, R, E, N, D, E. Vowels. Strendy. E. An E can spell the S sound right there just fine because the next 2 letters are consonants. And then E at the end of a longer word is usually spelled with a Y. E at the end of a longer word is usually spelled with a Y. Well done. Let's try this one together. Holy smokes, our time is flying by. Then I'm gonna, let me think of which words I want to do with you in our short time that we have left. Okay. Try the word. Okay, let me just remind you of how to spell the E sound toward the end of a multisyllable word. Multisyllable word means that there are 2 vowels that don't touch. If that's the case, if you're in a word that has 2 vowels that don't touch, that qualifies as multisyllable. When that E is toward the end, you're going to use an E consonant final silent E. E consonant final silent E to make that so that almost last sound E can make its long sound. It needs that companion vowel, that silent E. Okay, your word without me, just on your own, is e-meat. E-meat sounds E. Mouth closed. E. T. 4 sounds. 2 are dotted. E-meet. E-meet. Rowan, you have one extra letter. See if you can figure out which one does not belong. One of these things does not belong. E-meet. Beverly, that double E is an option to spell the E sound, but that is usually saved for one syllable words where there's only one vowel sound in it. When it's a multi-syllable word like that, the spelling for E of choice is E, consonant, final silent E. Nice, Sheldon. E, consonant. There you go, Beverly. Silent. There you go, Rowan. Now give me that last letter that you accidentally took off on that one. E, consonant, final silent E. E, consonant, final silent E. Big juicy hint. Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of double E's on there, and I like that you know that EE can spell E, but that's usually for the beginning of words, not toward the end of multisyllable words. Okay, so in E-meet, let's do our consonants first. We have E, E, T, right? 4 sounds. Those are the 2 consonants. Now we have our 2 E sounds. We always start with a single E, and if it works, stop, you're done. Can this E say E here? Yes, so stop, we're done. It already has a companion vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. We don't have to add anything. It's perfect. Now the second E sound, can we use just a single E to make the E sound? We can't say E right now because there's not another vowel in the next 1 or 2 spots. If there's not one, we add one. Our options, as you know, are an EE or an E, consonant, final silent E. This one is usually for short words. This one is usually for the end of multi-syllable or longer words. So this is going to be the spelling of choice for our word. We're going to put that silent E right there. E-meet. Okay, let's do another one of those. Our word is E-peem. E-peem. Go for it. E, P, E, M. E-peem. Where does our time go, my friends? Where does our time go? E-peem. E, consonant, final silent E. E-peem, there you go, nice. E-peem, because we need that companion vowel to say, for that second E to say its name. E-peem. All right, so our consonants are E, P, E, M. E can spell the E sound right there at the beginning because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down, but this E needs a companion vowel, and because it's a multi-syllable word, it doesn't look like a very long word, but it qualifies as a long word, a multi-syllable word, because there are 2 vowels that don't touch. So we're going to use that E, consonant, final silent E pattern. There is E-peem. Okay, do we have time for one more? I think we do. Okay. She-steam, and my first sound is sh, like shower or show, okay? She-steam. Sh-e-st-e-m. She-steam. 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 Gorgeous, Francesco. Nice, Beverly. Good show. Beautiful, Joseph. Yes, exactly. Clement, you have the right letters, but I need one of them in a different spot. See if you can, I know you can figure that out. Oh, Rowan, so close. Give me one more letter. Nice. Beautiful. She-steam. Good, Sheldon. Okay. Our consonants. Sh, e, s, t, e, m. right here can be spelled with an E just fine because the next two letters are consonants. And here we have a multi-syllable word. Two vowels don't touch. So this final E sound is going to be spelled with an E consonant, final silent E. E consonant, final silent E. All right, my friends, so you learned so much about E. E is not the easiest letter to absorb. There's a lot of different spelling patterns, and we didn't even go over all of them. We could spend probably 6 months on E. E and A and O, they're kind of on the hard side. Just not really hard, just there's a lot to learn about them. They have so many different spellings, and they spell so many different sounds. But here's the good news. I, Y, and U, but especially I and Y, are just straight up fun. And next month, starting on Monday, we get to learn about I. And I has a lot of fun facts in it that a lot of people don't know about, so that'll be fun to talk about next time. So on Monday, get ready to learn all about I. For now, congratulate yourself on all that you learned about E. You did great. All right, my friends, I will see you on Monday. Bye, everybody.